Haugesson. Valberg skorar! Valberg Gunnarsson hefur skorað. Ragnar Bergjesson og skoðaðar. Glæsilega. Óskar Hrafn á móti Bjarna. Og Bjarni með góða sendingu fyrir og hann aftur Ingvarsson.
Hello and welcome to the best pod ever, match week 6 in the league. I'm Ragnar, joined as always by Tryggvi.
Hello.
Hello indeed. We're going to take a look at what happened this week. I think we should start with the nonsense at KR, given that we are self-described KR fans. So we might as well just get this one over with. Not good for KR.
Not good. No.
Good for Hauka.
Great for Hauka. Yeah, it's they're on a roll. They might not be as dead as we thought they were.
No, they're showing some fight for sure, but I don't know. First of all, I think we need to address the fact that there's been some discussion from, I guess, people and from our supposed colleagues in the media about Greg, right? And about his throne being usurped.
They haven't won for 4 games now. One draw in 4 games after a good start. And it was, we talked about it in our interview with Greg at the start of the season, that he wasn't the first choice, very publicly wasn't the first choice for this job. The first choice was, at least from the outside, was Óskar Hrafn, who was at Breiðablik. In the end, it became very clear that he was going to go to Norway, to Haugesund. So that was not really a realistic option. And then they ended up with Greg. And I think there's been quite a lot of excitement about that, especially towards the beginning of the season, preseason, and then the start of the season. But now Óskar Hrafn has left Haugesund. Nobody really knows why. There's talk, some people are saying he's homesick. Some people are saying he wasn't allowed to hire the staff he wanted and some such. But yeah, this is what's Hrafn in English?
Raven.
Yeah, the Raven is casting a shadow across the Vesturbærin.
I think this is nonsense. Honestly, I think it would be ridiculous to dump Greg at this point and go with Óskar. I don't know. It's first of all, it's disrespectful, obviously, but I guess modern football clubs don't care about that. Second of all, just from looking at this game, this was just an individual mistake riddled game. I don't think this was a coaching error.
I don't think he told them to do that. No.
I mean, look, you see what happened? It was ridiculous, right? The first goal is just, I mean, come on, you have to talk.
Yeah, speculative, sort of, I guess, long ball, and then Finnur Thomas heads back to Sigurpáll in goal, and it just, we don't know, maybe Sigurpáll didn't call for it. I'm hoping he didn't, because otherwise Finnur Thomas doesn't look good.
Yeah, I mean, there's Sigurpáll there running out, should be screaming his lungs out. There's 2 other defenders who are facing the goal and see what's happening, who should also comment on the situation in real time. And then Finnur, commits to this header. I mean, I guess in his mind, he has a defender there, an attacker, there, that he needs to keep the ball away from, and that's just the way that is. But that is just a communication error goal. Absolutely dreadful communication error goal, but not coaching related at all. And then for the second goal, I mean, I don't know. He gets the ball there. There's 3 defenders free, just chilling in the box, looking at him. Or not even looking at him, just sort of, I don't know what they're doing, just going for a little stroll, and he's all free in the box and scores. I mean,
yeah, they're busy appealing for offside rather than to try to get him. And it's not. You would excuse it if it was maybe like, Rurik or one of the younger defenders is not that much experience. But this is Axel, former professional, been playing abroad for years, raised at Reading Academy. He knows how to deal with a cross. You would think. Just completely lost his man, and I mean, the rest of the Coward defense as well. It's terrible.
I was just lazy and horrible. Yeah.
Then it got worse.
Yeah, it got worse. It got worse twice.
Twice, yeah. Yeah, Floki with
just the most brain dead tackle I've seen in a while.
Yeah,
I mean, why are you leaping off the ground like this? You have your leg studs up off the ground, bent, and then sort of push it forward with some serious force. Like, what are you doing?
No, like you're never getting away with that. As soon as you jump off the ground, anyone knows you're not getting away with that. It's a red.
It was just one of the worst tackles I've seen in a while. I mean, it was, and it's not even like you can't even excuse it and say that it was like a dangerous situation where he had to act.
No,
I mean, he's at the edge of their box.
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
Yeah, I don't know if he was pissed or if he was just an idiot. I have no idea. No, it was pretty terrible.
Nah, I don't know. And then, I mean, the final red card, that one's more understandable. You know, they're down a goal. There is the possibility that the attacker's going to bomb down the wing, cut in, and maybe score. So I think the tackle's the correct decision. It's a little bit late. I would have no problem with that. The only way I can see this being a coaching issue if there's sort of lazy, bad attitude from the players is somehow related to a lack of respect or something. But that's on the players. I don't know. I'm Team Greg on this one. I hope that he can turn this around, but I think it might be time for some tough love from him towards the players.
Yeah, this was supposed to be like you can see the difference between Coward and FO, for example. FO, they're probably not going to win the league, but they've taken the easier games, the games they need to win, and they've won them. And then they could come up against Vikingur and it was a bit too much, but they're winning the games they have to win. Coward, couldn't beat Kawa, which is not only it's their second point in the league. They've only have 2 points in the league and one of them against Coward.
Yeah.
Failed to beat Haukau, who are on a run, but still.
I mean, it's not so much that they failed to beat them, but it's just the manner in which they did it. I mean, come on, man. Come on. At home as well.
Yeah, no, it's just Coward really needs to pick up very quickly, and then Greg needs to. I think it would be very premature to get rid of him. I think the only reason they would do it, I think, would be if they think, okay, Oscar is too big of a name to pass up.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. You see this in teams around the world. This constant need to bring in this manager, that manager, and offload as soon as things aren't going perfectly right at the very beginning. I think it's not necessarily a recipe for success. I think if you start something like this with Greg, you need to see it through and see what happens. It's early enough that you might as well see it out. It's not bad enough that they're going to get relegated. I don't think at this point they're going to win the league anyway.
No.
I guess Europe is the only thing that you're sort of really thinking about there. But no, I absolutely would not condone dismissing Greg.
No, and you also have to remember the injuries. Aron Sig came off the bench. Finally now, after being injured in the first game, he's one of the big money signings apart from Kilve in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be a huge boost. Yo is out for the season, which is a big loss. And then the strikers. I think it's, I don't know if Benoni is struggling after his injury, but he's misfiring a little bit. I think he's not missed a penalty against Kawa, which was also a decent save, but he also was snatching at his chances a little bit so far this season. And then Floki did what he did, and it's not like Floki's ever been a scorer of many goals for Kawa. I think he has just over a dozen goals in his time at Coward, which is so it's we need to get some goals, get them quick.
Speaking, I guess, tangentially about Europe, because I spoke about Coward aiming for Europe, and talking about managers, if we do a segue. Good couple of days for Arnar Gridar, personally, professionally.
Nice little windfall.
Yeah, so 3 points and 11 million kroner.
Yeah. It's not bad.
Absolute amateur hour from Kawa. Come on, guys. First of all, come on. Learn to read your own contracts, number one. Second of all, don't act like this towards your employees. Yeah, you're upset that he went to talk to someone else, but try to respect the labor laws of the land. Don't no sympathy. None at all. Congrats to Arnar. Spend that money wisely.
Yeah, just for anyone who hasn't seen the news, Arnar has been awarded 11 million Icelandic kroner as a sort of a bonus that he was owed for Kawa qualifying for Europe 2 seasons ago, I guess. It's been in the courts for a very long time, but they've awarded in his favor. Kawa said they will appeal, but it's it had to do with the fact that Arnar was applying or speaking to Valur when he was still under contract with Kawa. So they didn't they didn't fire him exactly. They put him on leave or something, which didn't null his bonus. So yeah, just a complete screw up from Kawa.
I mean, it could influence them quite negatively going forward now. Because like we said, they're on 2 points. Not doing great. Talk of maybe, we've talked about this before, and there's been talk of them wanting, whatever, a new manager. They just burnt a hole through their own pocket. And might find themselves a little cash poor in that regard.
Yeah, and they also bought, like we spoke about last week, and they brought in Villarer, who hasn't quite taken off yet. But I'm assuming that costs some money. I mean, we've spoken about this before, a bit more last season than this season. Finances in Iceland are a bit of a black hole. Nobody really knows. We don't even know what Gilv is on. There's rumors of a few million, but nobody really knows. It's either 2 million or 4 million a week or a month or something.
Yeah.
It's a bit crazy that nobody really knows these things. It's the same with teams of Kawa who can spend money. It's not through a sponsorship or some sort of official club channels. A lot of the time it's through these sort of rich backers that. But again, nobody knows this, so we don't really know how much money Kawa has. Do they have a bit of a treasure chest waiting from someone, and they're willing to bring in Olio, who was linked to Kawa this week? I don't know. Or are they completely cash poor now after this bonus debacle?
I mean, are they an attractive employer for a manager at this point? They're in a terrible place in the league. They're not looking so hot, and official track record of not treating their managers well. I mean, I don't know.
No. Anything positive in Akureyri is going the way of Thor at the moment. It seems like. Yeah, if you're going to be anywhere in Akureyri, you would be in Thor. Who just won a cup game this week, so they're in the quarterfinals. So yeah, I agree. It's not a nice place to be at the moment. Maybe.
No, I don't think we actually said it out loud, but it lined up nicely. Valur 3, Kawa 1. We didn't actually say who they beat, but they beat Kawa, which is a little bit of a dramatic irony.
Yeah, I mean, like we spoke about last week, I think most people expected this. I think it would have been worse for Arnar much worse for Arnar if it had gone the other way around than it was for Hallgrímur this way around. I don't think anyone expected them to challenge Valur. I think they played better, to be honest. Watching this game, they did play better, and they were 1-1 at halftime, I think. But yeah, they can't take on someone like Valur for 90 minutes. And it became obvious, and the attack is also very limited. I think that they're really boosted by the fact that Hallgrímur Már is back from injury, scored a penalty, and he does threaten quite a lot up front. But other than him, they're really dependent on Viðarar becoming match fit, because there's not a lot happening there.
No. But on the other end, Patrick Pedersen banging him in still.
Gylfi and Pedersen are just... they're doing enough to drag Valur through. I thought Valur, again, it was a bit like the other games. They were really good in patches, and then in other patches they sat back too much and allowed Kawa back into the game. But yeah, with the quality they have, especially someone like Pedersen, if he can keep this going throughout the season, there's very few teams that can stop them from scoring. And defensively, they're also quite solid. So I don't think they need to get going that much. I don't think they need to be that good. I think as long as they can keep Pedersen scoring and keep the defense solid like it is, I think they're going to be fine. Whether fine is enough for challenging Víkingur, we'll see.
Yeah, speaking of Víkingur, they beat FO 2-0 at home. Some drama that went on. Right? A couple things. First of all, if we just start right off the bat. The first goal, another instance of just defenders not really picking up the obvious man. I mean, good run, good finish, but I mean, come on guys. You got to do better than that, no?
Yeah, when a cross comes in from Víkingur, you put 3 men on Aron Elís, you put another 3 men on Nico Nikolai, and then, pray to God it doesn't go to anyone else. You don't let either of those guys go run freely in the box, and that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, so that was a bit of a mistake. The second goal, what being touted as the goal of the round, I mean, it was fine. It was a free kick with a nice header. I mean, it was good. I won't take that away from anyone, but I mean, I guess there weren't any fantastic goals. I would say the first Breiðablik goal was maybe nicer, not in his finish, but in just the first touch.
Yeah, I think maybe his finishing wasn't. If he made a fancy, if he chipped the goalkeeper or something, then maybe it would have been there. But yeah, his touch was amazing. Aron Bjarna's touch was amazing, and finished it well. But
there's still cards to discuss in the Vikingur game, the Vikingur FH game. I'm going to go against the grain and say that the second yellow that was shown to Nikolai was not a second yellow, nor was it a foul by him. I would say that I would lean further towards it being a foul on him. Because if you look at it, what happens, he swipes for the ball in a relatively understandable sort of way, not studs up. He goes in quite hard, sure, but he's just trying to clear the ball. He's maybe not super aware of the player that's coming in there, Vuk. But Vuk comes in, studs up, straight leg, and hits him. So I don't know, I've seen some discussion here, and apparently people don't seem to take this viewpoint, but I'd say it's closer to a yellow, red for Vuk than it is even a foul the other way.
I disagreed with you before we saw it again together, because like all the angles were not great. So like it always looked like Nico had his studs up. Like he looked like he went in studs up, and then it looked like Vuk kind of did as well, but then he wasn't really sure. So, but it always looked like Nico had his studs up, but then we sort of managed to find the one frame. We VAR'd it and found the one frame where you can actually see that Nico doesn't have his studs up. He swipes at the ball, the outside of it, or
his laces.
His laces, exactly. Puts his laces through it, and Vuk comes in, studs down on Nico. So yeah, I agree. But I think the angles were just so terrible, and then I guess nobody wanted to VAR it.
I mean, in real time, I thought it looked bad from Nikolai.
Yeah.
And it reacted as such. But in my mind, when everything was going down, I was thinking, who is he going to card here?
Mm.
And then, we slowed it down, and I agree with myself on this, just like you. I think it's a foul the other way.
Yeah.
Then there was this weird. I mean, there was a professional foul.
Yeah.
Right, and we threw it on a Twitter poll of whether it was a red card. Right. So for those of you who haven't seen it, but he's chasing down Matti, I think, chasing him from behind. I guess is the only way to chase someone. And it is a breakaway situation, and he comes up behind him and just bear hugs him from behind, sort of wraps his arms around his shoulders / throat, granted, and kind of just takes him down. I don't think it's dangerous, first of all. But anyway, we put it to our poll, our Twitter poll, and we got basically a 50-50 split right down the middle. Yes, red, no red. I'm camp no red. I'm camp yellow for sure. It's a professional foul. I mean, come on, it's absolutely a yellow. If he had twisted his body in any capacity and there'd been any sort of necular torsion going on, I would have said red. But as it is, I think it's quite a sort of, he probably should have wrapped his arms around his body rather than his sort of neck, but I think it's a yellow.
Yeah, I think the way he does it is not a red. I think if you look at the picture, you could argue that it's a red. Like he has his hands kind of almost around his neck. If you just showed this, like you just showed this tackle, this picture, and said like, is it a red? I can see that people would say yes, but I think the way, if you look at the entire incident, he just sort of climbs on his back a little bit and gives him a little hug. It's just, it was 100% a yellow. It's never not a yellow, but I think red would have been a bit much.
I mean, if an opponent did this to me in a game, I would be angry, yes.
Yeah.
But if a friend did this to me during sort of a playful frolic, I would not think that he was being overly violent.
No, exactly.
So I think that...
And I think they are. I think they might be friends as well. I think that's might come out afterwards. So I think it's Mate wasn't that upset.
Oh,
so yeah.
I would say yellow. Yellow is fair.
Mm.
And just, I guess, while we're on the subject, we had some answers to our listener questions, and one of them stood out from Jamie about what people think of the new referee directives, And he says, no, it's too inconsistent, especially with the cheap fouls. Some teams are getting loads and others barely any each game. Lots of cards and injuries too. 4 yellows for a ban is too few for 27 games. I mean, this is the inconsistency angle is the number one thing that referees are criticized for globally. And this is no exception. And I agree with him here. I mean, if you're going to referee a league, a true football league, you have to be able to put together a consistent refereeing team. And especially if you're going to have these sweeping directives, you need to make sure people are on the same page. And the people have spoken, and they're not.
No, I think we can sort of echo what we said last week, that the best thing in a situation would be for the FA or the referee association, whoever, the league or everyone, to come out and say, like, look, this is either, sorry, never won't do that again, or no, like, look, this is the new normal. Just deal with it. We'll explain some decisions. Maybe these 3 were mistakes, but the rest were all fine, and this is just a normal. Deal with it.
Yeah.
The silence is deafening a little bit, and it's not going to help. As soon as you get a red card in a bit more an important time in the league, when you start getting more of these yellow card bans with 4 yellow cards towards the middle and the end of the season, I think it's gonna, and maybe when we go to Europe as well, like, will we start seeing some discrepancies between the league and Europe?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. On this subject though, 4 yellows for a ban. I mean, Jamie here says that 4 yellows for a ban is too few for 27 games. I mean, word. But I have always been against this whole accumulation thing. 4 yellows and then you get a ban. I mean, I don't know. I get it. You're trying to discourage these professional fouls and punish these violent players or whatever. But like, I don't know, man. Like, a yellow card is, you get yellow cards for innocuous things or things that aren't dangerous, things that are just part of the game. I mean, yeah, sure, you get a yellow card for literally breaking the rules. I get it, but let's not pretend that yellow cards aren't a part of the game. And then get 4 of them and then you can't play. I mean, come on, man. Just let, like, I don't, maybe if you had like a real high bar, if someone's picking up 10, 15 cards in a season or something, then yeah, like 10 cards over the course of the season, maybe, yeah, then it's like, okay, bro, chill a little bit. But I don't think 4 yellows is enough of an advantage to outweigh the fact that you then miss a game.
No, especially with these new rules. I mean, we have 5 players already on 4 yellows.
Yeah.
After 6 rounds, that's quite a lot. And if this keeps going, then yeah, we're gonna get a lot more of this. No, I mean, I agree. I think it's, maybe we can, in the Champions League or something, group stages where there's 6 games, right? If you get a yellow card in 4 or 5 of them, I can understand. Okay, maybe you need to chill. Sit 1 game out. But in a league of 27, if without the new directive, if someone had already gotten 4 yellow cards after 6 games, then like you could be like, okay, something's happening here.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, maybe this is something this is definitely something they need to look at. They can't just ignore this and just be like, oh yeah, no, this is this is just what's happening. Because it is going to impact players and teams, and there are teams that can't take, Vikingur and Valur can take a suspension or 2.
Yeah.
Nico went off with a red card, and Helgi Guðjóns came on and scored. Valur the same. Like, they can lose Adamair. They have 1,000 other players, attackers.
Yeah.
Vestre, Kawa, Fram,
Fylkir.
Yeah, this is gonna really hurt those sort of teams. So they need to have some sort of strategy around it at least.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, speaking of these sorts of teams that are languishing a little bit more, and maybe let's get back to our regular scheduled programming, talk about the games. Fylkir lost again. They lost to Breiðablik 3-0. First goal, like I said, wonderful touch. Goal around for me, but whatever. Vestre lost to Ia 3-0.
Yeah, not all. And we asked before the game on Twitter, I think, where did people see this game leaning? Ia or Vestre, the 2 newly promoted teams, and 90% were on Ia side there. So not a lot of faith.
I had a little bit of faith. I remember last week I was talking about that. I had some faith.
Yeah, and I thought Vestre were okay, but I think they didn't really threaten. I think Andre Runar had a free kick. I think that The keeper saved very Manuel Neuer-y, kind of with one hand, very nonchalant. I don't know, it was a very strange save, but it worked. Otherwise, they didn't really threaten, to be honest. I thought it was weird that Peter Bjarnason only came on towards the end of the game. Maybe, I don't know if maybe he isn't fit, given that his whole transfer situation at the beginning of the season. Nobody really knew if he was going to get the move to Vestre. Mm-hmm. So maybe he's not fit, but I find it a bit weird if you're missing goals. Why not bring on the very, very tall striker who scores goals? Yeah, not a good result for Vestre. They're still doing okay. They're doing better than Kawa and Fylkir, but only 6 points.
Yeah, but I mean, 6 points. They're only 3 points off 7th, 4 points off top half. Anything can happen. They just need to keep the faith, head up, keep going, because they've been doing okay.
Yeah, they've been doing fine. I think there's a difference. I think they're similar in the sense of like with Fylkir and Vestre. There's similarities. I just think Vestre are more solid, sort of through the middle. I think they have a better set of players to move the ball around to defend, and they have a really good goalkeeper. Although he had a bit of a nightmare this weekend. I'm going to defend him a little bit. I think the free kick was not good. The free kick goal was not good. I'm not going to defend him there, but I think he had some really nice saves all game. I think he had a pretty good game apart from that one mistake, and people are treating it like he had a terrible match. I think he made some good saves. He was commanding in the box, so I think people need to chill a little bit. Yeah. But no, I think they're going to be okay. Fylkir, not so sure. I think we were sort of impressed with their pressing, their running, their effort. I guess like that was exemplified maybe best in the Coward game, the first game of the season. But it just seems like they're missing goals. They're missing a bit more stability, a bit more strength in numbers, like we sort of predicted at the beginning of the season might be an issue, and so far it seems to be coming true.
I mean, they're also leaking goals pretty hard. Yeah, they've let in 15 goals so far. Averaging 2.5 goals per game.
Only scoring
5. Yeah, I mean, granted, you have a 5-1 in there and a 4-3. They're padding the stats a little bit, but I mean, that's 2 games where you're shipping 4+ goals. 3 against Breiðablik now. There's I think scoring goals is always going to be the slightly more difficult ask. So I think the priority there has to be tightening up at the back.
And I guess speaking of tight at the back, Fram.
Yeah.
They keep keeping it tight. It was they've only conceded 4, so that's 11 goals less than Fylkir.
Yeah. There's
a small difference there in terms of quality at the back. And they had a pretty good game against Stjarnan. Really tough away game.
Mm-hmm. The Fram goal. This, again, like in the Coward situation, there's 3 defenders literally in a triangle around the goal scorer. And he gets the cross in or this pass in, and he manages to just get the shot off. There's 3 players that could close him down.
Yeah,
it was a great finish though.
It was a very good finish, but very good finish from Gummi to tie the game for Fram.
The Stjarnan goal I thought it was good, but as a coach I would still be a little bit worried seeing it because positives and negatives. The negatives were that they never really seemed in control of what was happening.
No.
But the positives were that they were fighting hard enough and the decision making was good enough that the final touches that they managed to somehow get on the ball always were decent passes and they strung stuff together. So they're clearly decent at this sort of improvisational football. It was a little touch and go at times.
Yeah, but they seem to be coming alive. But so very good for Fram to hold on, get a point. Yeah. They are in 5th now.
Yeah,
tied on points with Valur, and then Stjarnan right behind them. We're starting to see at least. I think the way the league looks right now probably reflects. I think it's a good reflection of how the league has started. I mean, that's a very stupid point. But sometimes you think this team should be higher. They've struggled a little bit. But
if you look at the top teams getting the points they deserve.
Yeah, I think if you look at the top 6, that's fair.
Yeah,
Valur I think have maybe not been super impressive, but they've scored goals, kept clean sheets. Fram and Stjarnan, especially Stjarnan waking up from building, and then the bottom 7 are struggling at the moment. Maybe EA the least. Bottom six, sorry, are struggling at the moment. EA maybe the least so, but they're maybe not finding the consistency they need to stay in the top 6. We did ask if Fram could make Europe on Spotify, and I think it was 100% no. So not a lot of faith in Fram.
I feel like Fram could be this sort of slow burn team this season that just regularly picks up points, nothing too flashy, and just sort of grinds their way up the table as these other boys go hard and pick up big wins here and there and then lose games. I don't know. I feel like Fram they seem to be capable of some like grind style consistency. I wouldn't be too surprised.
No, and then when they have Gumimak scoring now, which he struggled with last season, I think that's a huge boost to them. So yeah, no, I think you're right.
I mean, also because if we want to just jump into that right away, the players of the round, you have to give one to Kyle McLagan.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, what a beast this man was and is proving to be.
Yeah. No, yeah. He started. He was at Fram. He has been at Fram already, and was proved. Was one of the more exciting defenders in the league. Earned his move to Viking Good, and then just was so ridiculously unlucky to get injured and miss out on that whole adventure. Which I think he could have easily been the name we would have been talking about as being very easily one of the best defenders in the league. In a fantastic Viking Good side with so it's really unlucky for him, but he's showing why he earned his move, and I'm sure if he wants it, he can get another move at the end of the season, or play with Fram in Europe.
Exactly.
No, but he was fantastic. We've spoken about him a little bit, but maybe not given him his due so far this season. But this is not a pity vote. He was fantastic. There's a clip of him making 3 insane tackles.
Yeah, just real crunchy defender tackles, but fully clean.
Yeah, no, still they weren't happy with some of them. I think they wanted a penalty, at least one for the one of them, but no.
Disagree.
Yeah,
these were just. I mean, they were hard, but they were extremely well executed and great decision making. They were very, very good tackles.
And then we tried to do a poll to ask if he was the best defender in the league so far. I just completely screwed that up. So I wrote great defender in the league so far.
But 81% of people do think that he is a great defender in the league so far.
Almost 20% said no, which
he's not a great defender. I mean, that's
or they actually got what I was trying to say. I think maybe another one. As much as we don't like it, we should probably give one to Hauko.
Yeah, we should.
It's a bit hard because I don't think there was anyone that fully stood out. There was nobody, controlling the game, at least not how I saw it. But I think Arturare, the match winner, scorer of the second goal. Just again, this is the sort of man we mentioned at the beginning of the season in our previews. If Hauka are to have any chance, he is the man to drag them out of the relegation battle, and he showed today again why he is that man, why he's one of the best players at Hauka. And then maybe at the other end of the experience spectrum is Guðfinnur Þór at IA. I mean, not a youngster to say. I think he's 24 maybe, but been around sort of the lower leagues a bit more. But this weekend was his time to shine. Smaradona and Rúnar Már not in the team, and he completely bossed that defense. His defensive, if you look at his numbers, he had the most defensive action in the game. Capped it off with a goal, a real striker's finish. And we didn't miss either of the two experienced heads at all. So really, really good game from Guðfinnur.
In our choice here, are we neglecting the big boys that suffer from their own success, like Patrick Pedersen?
Yeah, 100%.
Would others perhaps choose him?
Yeah, I think Pedersen and then I think Yasun Dade are the two names I think we should maybe mention. Just one of the best players in the league. Played really well. Scored 3 goals between them, but yeah, we try to give the light to maybe the smaller boys sometimes.
Yeah, you're already getting multiple goals a game. Just chill. You don't need this stuff. If you just look at what's coming up, first of all, there's cup games.
Yeah, we're already deep in cup week. So in the league, I think the league games aren't until Monday, as far as I remember. Yeah, Monday, Tuesday are the league games. This week or next week technically.
And the 20th and the 21st.
Yeah. Yeah, that's because of the Cup week. We had the first game, Thor beating Fjölnir. Party seems to be going on in Thor. I think we can expect them, if this keeps going, to see them in the Besta next year. Will there be an Akureyri derby, or will Kawa switch places?
Kawa themselves are going to play Vestri. I mean, that'll be a game.
I think it's mostly, this is maybe a switch from last weekend where, Valur, Kawa, where it was mostly important for Valur. This is a game very most important for Kawa. I don't think Vestri, while they would love a cup adventure, I think their priority is staying in the league.
Yeah.
Kawa should be looking at cups and not just being in a relegation battle. There was some critique over Hallgrímur in the post-match interview where he said that it looks like Kawa are in the relegation battle this year, and that'll be an exciting challenge, and people weren't super happy with him saying that. But so yeah, if they go out against Vestri, that seat might be unbearably warm.
Yeah. And then the other two teams that make up the bottom four currently in the league are also playing. Fylkir HK. See how that one goes. Stjarnan KR is one. I mean, that's always a game, and probably the best game I've been to in Iceland. The biggest atmosphere was a Stjarnan KR Cup game. So I don't remember how many years ago. Decent number of years ago, but I mean, this KR need to win this one. I think for their own sake, for their fans' sake, for Greg's sake, for everything, just to get a little bit of positivity and a little bit of momentum. Keflavik and Valur Afturölding. How do you feel about them? Potential banana skins or not?
I think especially Keflavik. I mean, Keflavik already took out Breiðablik.
Yeah.
So Breiðablik were the only best team to fall at the first hurdle. Sami Kamil took them out, and let's see if he can do the same to Ia.
Yeah.
So definitely Afturölding, Valur. Afturölding haven't maybe started as strong as many predicted them to do in the first division. So let's see if they can show up to this game. And they're at home. Maybe Valur take their eye off the ball. Let's see if we can get a bit of a cup set.
Yeah. And then there's Grindavík Víkingur. I mean, we would expect Víkingur to cruise through that one. And Fram IH, I would also at Fram at home. I mean, I would put my money on Fram there. And then we will be back in over a week, no, less than a week, 5-6 days in the league. I mean, FH KR again, that's KR need to show up, but FH are going to be looking for blood there. Fylkir KR again, KR probably need to get some results for Hallgrímur's sake.
Yeah.
Víkingur Vestri, or Vestri Víkingur, should I rather say? I'd love to see Vestri get a result there.
Yeah, but again, not at home.
No.
Still in Reykjavik, so it's a bit of a shame thing, but yeah, no, not this time.
Breiðablik Stjarnan, another big game. I guess that's really the test for Stjarnan, whether they're ready to rock with the big boys.
Yeah.
Taking Breiðablik away.
Yeah, and also Breiðablik, they need to dispatch Stjarnan if they're gonna
solidify themselves as a big boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Fram Ia, the way Fram are going, I think they're gonna win that 1-0.
Yeah, but then you have Viktor Jonsson, who scored 6 goals in the league. He's the top scorer in the league so far. So we'll see if they can keep. If Kyle against Viktor,
yeah,
that's a game.
Absolutely.
And then HK Valur, can HK keep this going?
Yeah, that's going to be the game of the round potentially.
Yeah.
If HK win, then retroactively it'll be game of the round for sure.
Yeah, two potential banana skins maybe for Valur, Afturölding and HK. 2 away games. I mean, they should win both. Yeah, they need to win. They need to win both, to be honest. If they, just like Breiðablik, need to win Stjarnan, these are the sort of games that Valur need to win. They need to dispatch Afturölding and HK.
Yeah, absolutely. If they're looking to win the league and go deep in the cup, obviously. I mean, if they're looking to go anywhere in the cup, they have to win. But you know what I mean. If they want to solidify themselves as the best team in the country, then you have to win these games. But HK are not going down without a fight. We can see that.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, big week coming up, so enjoy. A lot of good football, probably a lot of cards, a lot of drama. So stay tuned, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.